All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. 6:05. So yeah, let's just get started. I think huge win after last week. The dam repair passed in Sabattus. So I heard it was pretty unanimous with like almost 100 and something people there at the town meeting. So I hear it was standing room only in the beginning and they had to bring out more chairs. So I think that's a pretty good sign of things to come. Sabattus was like my least guess concern for the dam repair, but I think it's still a great sign that it passed pretty much unanimously. So it's always great to see. Justin,
That's even
school
better. Even
background.
better, they found money.
Yeah, and they so for everybody who doesn't know, they did pass it, and they voted to take it out of undesignated fund balance, and so that actually has a pretty healthy undesignated fund balance. Typically for municipalities, I think they recommend 3 to 6 months of their billing or like their liabilities, I guess, or how much they would have to pay in that time. Kind of like an emergency fund for an individual, but 3 to 6 months in the bank essentially. And I think Sabattus has a little bit more than that typically. Last time I checked last year, they had about like almost 2 million. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's lower now. So, and they took the almost 400,000 out of that instead of bonding it, which is certainly a way to go. So yeah, it won't affect the tax liability of anybody this year. So that's great. Yeah. Awesome. Anybody who was there, do they want to talk about it a little bit? Justin, I know you were there. Georgia, I think you were there too. 1.4 million. Oh, great. Perfect. So what, they're probably down to just a little bit over a million then?
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting meeting. Growing up in a small town, I've never been to a town meeting before, as an adult, and it was interesting. I didn't realize the power of the people who could change things at the last minute after months of work by town council and budget committees. So that was pretty interesting. The undesignated fund came up multiple times. I think they said they had 1.4 million in the undesignated fund. They wanted to use it for a couple different article questions, but actually Dan's daughter Christine was there. And really early on, probably like Article 8 or 9, she spoke up and said we had this coming down the pipe towards the end of the meeting, and we should save the undesignated funds towards the dam repair. Then probably the middle of the meeting, it came up again, and she again said we should save this until the end. When it came time, they made a motion to use the money out of undesignated funds, seconded, no questions, and it passed unanimously within like 20 seconds. It was pretty easy.
Amazing.
It just took a long time to get there with all the other articles and the budgets for the town. So
yeah, I definitely heard how that went, and it seemed like a very long process. So I'm glad that that's how it went down. And there's a couple different options like for that. I think that it was originally written as a bond, and depending on how much the bond interest rates are for municipalities, there's that old saying that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow, and that's simply just because of inflation. So if you were to spend all of that money today instead of spreading it out over a few years, if you can have an interest rate that's lower than inflation, it can typically be a little bit cheaper. But the way the economy is now, I definitely understand that. And honestly, that still impacts the tax liability of individuals in the community. So I think that preventing that is a great thing, especially with all the things that are coming up also in the communities and towns. So couldn't have been better. Very happy with the results. And thanks, Justin in Georgia and everybody else who attended that's watching and who's here. I think it's a good sign of things to come. And just a thing, and Sharon, I love that you're here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Wales has a cap on their undesignated fund balance at like 700,000. Is that right?
Muted.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Yeah, I think Wales might have a cap of how much money they can have in
Sorry,
the bank.
Nick, that's correct.
That is correct? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure about greens. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about greens, but I'm hoping it has the same result. So good stuff. And yeah, town meeting is an interesting thing. It's kind of specific to New England and kind of like when people first came over from Europe. And it's an interesting process, and it's exciting to see in person. I can say that. So I've been to a lot of them over the years. Justin, go for it.
Yeah, just I, hi Sharon, I'm glad you're on here. I didn't know if there was a way that we could get um, either Jeff Burrill or Eric Gagnon to join one of our next meetings to talk specifically about the interlocal agreement. I am very pleased with Sabattus. I am very optimistic that it's going to pass in Wales. I actually heard from a member of this group today who lives in Green, who said that they spoke with Green Code Enforcement, and Green Code Enforcement said that they were going to vote it down and remove themselves from the interlocal agreement. Not to kill everybody's high that we have with passing Sabattus, but we all knew it was contingent on all three towns passing.
Mhm.
They did mention that briefly at the informational meetings in Sabattus and in Wales. I don't specifically have a copy of the interlocal agreement that says that, but apparently this source in Green said that it's written in the interlocal agreement that if they pay 3 years of each town pays $3,000 a year to the dam commission. If they pay 3 years of that money, which is $9,000, then they can remove themselves from the interlocal agreement without any penalty or repercussions or anything like that. I know that Jeff Burrill and Eric Gagnon spoke briefly about that at the meetings. I don't know if they would be able to give us some more leeway or guidance as to if that does in fact happen for the town of Green. Hopefully, Lou's on here. I know he's a dam commission member and he's in the town of Green. Hopefully the informational meeting that we have in August will be able to shed light on this as to why it's important and how much Green would benefit from it if they did support it. So sorry to be that guy to rain on everybody's parade, but I know that's always been a question since the get-go was the town of Green's commitment to this project. So it's pretty unfortunate to hear that from a town official prior to the informational meeting and stuff like that. So I don't know, Lou, if you have any, if you've talked to people in Green or what the town council has to say about this, if they've had any town council meetings or anything, like select board meetings or anything.
That's the first I hear of it, Justin, and really sorry to hear that too. That's I'm going to reach out to some of the guys on the commission to see if they know anything about being able to withdraw that easily from the interlocal agreement. I haven't been on that long, so I wasn't there when they signed it, but I'd like to know more about that. And I haven't heard anything from any town official. I'm not that, I don't get into that politics too much over there, but that would really stink. I just find it hard to believe because Green is 1/3 and we have just about 1/3 of the property, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And to just drop out like that, a lot of people that would be up in arms, I would think.
Well, and that's why I'm hopeful that the informational meeting will be able to state the cause and the need and the benefits of the dam repair for all three towns. So I went for a boat ride and I was looking at not only all the camps on the lake, but all of the boats that have to get registered in the town of Green. It's quite a bit of money for all three towns that border the lake. So
Absolutely. And seriously, no worries, Justin. Thank you for letting us know. I think it's important to like know these things well ahead of time. And we can certainly, Lou said he would try to look into this, and we can certainly try to look into this on our end. And anybody from Green who watches these meetings and follows us, like I think it just means that it's even more important for you to get out and have your opinion be heard. Make sure to go to that informational meeting and definitely make time to go to the actual town meeting where that stuff is decided. Even though it's from a town official, at the end of the day, it's a town meeting, and it's the people that are there who make those decisions about what to do in the community. So certainly upsetting to hear if that is the case and if that's the official stance of Green, or at least the administration of Green. But I think you're definitely right, Lou. There's a large portion of Sabattus pond that is solely in green. And I can show that right now, just for everybody who is interested.
While you're doing that, Nick, just somebody asked me the other day, is it going to be a whole new dam or just a rebuilt dam?
So I think they're gonna. I don't think it's a complete rebuild, but I mean, essentially, it is a complete repair of the existing stuff and an extension of the existing stuff, if I recall right. I still have yet to see the schematics, but
So they're not actually going to tear this one completely down and build a new one. They're going to use some of what's already there.
I believe that's what I've heard. And I think, I mean, it'll be like up to snuff. It'll be like where it should be for those types of things. So it's not like it's going to be any less than what it would be in that way. At least, that's what I would assume. But yeah, I mean, Sabattus has about from like there to like there-ish, like down there, and then the rest is in Wales. So I would definitely say even maybe a majority of it is in Green. And maybe split pretty evenly with this area over here with Wales. But I mean, it's certainly a lot in Green. But just curious right now, how many people in Green are from Green on here right now?
Me.
What's the question?
How many people from Green are in here now? Lou, yeah, Wayne,
Louise Roy.
Luis Roy, okay.
I'm from Green.
Oh, Mike Wells, okay,
Matthew.
perfect. Yeah. Okay, certainly something to look into. So definitely appreciate that. Any other information, Justin, or anything like that? Like that was just from you said the building, the code enforcement officer?
Yeah, that was just the code enforcement officer. And for Wayne, I believe after the informational meetings, I posted to our Facebook page the drawings that they handed out for the dam. Those should be on the Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
They are not doing a complete new dam. They are doing extensive work on this dam. So this dam is a rubble dam, which is encased in concrete. So basically it's rock and stone and dirt that they threw in there in 1860 something and then covered it with concrete later. So it's basically the report from the state is it's a significant hazard, but the dam doesn't need to be replaced. It just needs to be repaired. The big thing that they talked about, and Lou probably can correct me if I misstate this, but they're worried about the pinning of the dam on the downstream side. So a bunch of the work is going to be drilling down into bedrock into the stream and pinning the dam. And they're also extending it on the east and the west side because right now when the water is high, it does overflow on the sides quite a bit. So that's the extent of the work for the dam itself. Part of it is also putting in new gates. I think there's a total of 5 or 7 gates. I think 2 of them are on the fish ladder itself. But the gates are going to be much easier to operate. Basically, you can just do a connection on a cordless drill and raise the gates. And it's also going to be easier for the skim gate on the side to be able to lower that to let the water go over the top when there's algae blooms. So yeah, sorry, it's a glare on the screen, but you have the schematics right there, Nick. So it kind of shows what they want to do.
Yeah.
They talked about safety. I know Lou was out there this fall when I was out. This is the first time I've ever been out there. It was, I can't believe that people walk out there. So there is going to be railings and safety hazards for the fall. Because it is about a 10-foot drop on the downstream side if anybody was to slip off of that.
That's unsafe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like an overhaul versus a rebuild.
Yeah, it's a major overhaul, and then obviously they have to incorporate the fish ladder, which on one of those other pages is the top shot, and you can see the fish ladder kind of in the middle of the stream and how it empties into the lake. And there are gates on that can be controlled for access for the fish and stuff.
Yeah, what is it? Dan's gonna be there with his counter, shutting it as soon as it hits 10,000 or something.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, this is good info. So yeah, definitely a drastic change in it for sure. Okay, cool.
That was a good description, Justin. Good job on that.
I agree.
Excellent. And this is also available on our Facebook page as well, so that's good. And I can send it out in the email too when I send out this information. So we're good there too. But good to see. All right. So in other good news, and Lou, I'll let you talk about it right now. But the second testing happened this weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How'd
We
it
were
go?
able to take Dan's boat. There was a miscommunication with the fire department. They were ready, but there was miscommunication. We ended up with Dan's boat anyway. So Christine, Dan, and I did it. We did the Secchi test as well as the dissolved oxygen.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
we're going to go every 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah. It's great to hear. And also, yeah, no, that's good. So the fire department was there and ready, but yeah.
Yeah, there was miscommunication. They were waiting for us. We were waiting for them at the launch. And so anyways, it worked out. And
Yeah.
your brother was real cool about it. So
Oh yeah, no worries. He's pretty cool
I'll
guy.
have my boat next week. I think I put it in on the 4th.
good.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, I told them that you're going to be offering to take me. So there may be 2 different testing going on once I'm certified.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. And you guys are doing 3 spots on the pond, is that right?
Right now we're doing 2.
2? Okay.
And I don't know what they're going to be assigning once there's 2 of us that are doing it. So more areas, the better, I guess, but whatever they deem
Yeah.
necessary.
So for continuity of data, they want to try to get it in the exact same places they've got it before historically.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we can't introduce new spots too when we have the capacity to do so. So I think that's also a positive. But Lou, just for the sake of knowing, do you know where on the map you guys have been doing your 2 spots?
Roughly, one is you can bring up your cursor a little bit. It's possibly around there. That's like 17 or 18 feet.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the other one is further up, almost across from Nason's Beach, right in the middle.
Right
You
about
come
there?
down. Yeah, come down a little bit, down a little bit, down, right around there, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So right in the middle and then right around here. Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Let me put some pins down. Oh, there we go.
So that's right near us, right, Lou? Nason's Beach.
Not far, right?
Any word on that road repair in Green, huh? Is that still unrepaired or not repaired?
Yeah, it's a mess.
So people, it's passable though, right? People can drive past it, or yeah. Okay.
1 lane.
One lane.
Yeah. Here's
Will you
hoping
be
there's not as
adding
much
a
rain
third
this year
site?
as there was last year.
All right.
Would you say, Donna?
Will they be adding a 3rd site for testing? Maybe up in the north?
I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not until we get somebody certified. And Lou, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're getting certified in July. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dan will be recertified as well.
Oh, good. Nice. Awesome.
Is there a reason why they go after the deeper spot versus the shallow spots?
Yeah, Lou?
Oh, go ahead.
No, did they tell you or?
I don't remember exactly, but they try to stick to that because they do dissolve oxygen reading every meter. So they try to get as much of the volume of water as possible, from my understanding.
Yeah. and going to the deepest spots would allow for like I guess more range of that data.
Yeah,
'Cause-
for,
yeah,
at least for the dissolved oxygen.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. I would be very interested to see what the dissolved oxygen is in shallower water though, because presumably there's um, less space, you know, for algae to be in, and you know, presumably less oxygen as well. So,
Well, what we noticed was that once you get near the very bottom, the dissolved oxygen drops off quite a bit.
yeah. Do you remember the numbers off the top of your head, or?
I don't. They're in meters, which is I'm not used to that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was gonna reach out to Christine when she had a couple testing things worth of data just to see. Yeah, it'll definitely be way worse in the bottom, and that's typically where you see that type of level of like anoxia start to present itself. And ponds that are typically eutrophic, already like Sabattus Pond, which means that they are cloudy essentially, cloudy for nutrient loads, cloudy for, you know, algae in the water and stuff like that. But typically they already do have some level of anoxia within them. So interested to see what that data comes with, but very glad to see that it's starting and it's going. So that's great. Great. Awesome. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? I did tinker around with the website this weekend a little bit, Justin. I don't know if you saw. Still trying to get some time to work on it, but I'm thinking I'm going to be able to do those document things and do those things too. So I watched a couple of videos this week after this weekend when I was tinkering on it. So I think it's just about getting the time to actually go through and do it, but hoping to have it done by the end of June. So, and let's see, just a shout out too for our annual events that we're going to host. So I'm definitely going to start planning that event. I think that is going to be, we picked a date for it. I'm just trying to find it.
August 18th?
August 18th, I believe so. Yeah. Let me just.
The 17th.
17th.
17th,
Okay.
what do you think?
Yeah. It's a Saturday, I believe.
Is there a location or a time or?
We do not have a location or a time. So that's actually what I wanted to talk about. So, you know, it doesn't need to be anything big. I think it might be nice if it was around the lake, if we can find maybe even at Martin's Point, or, you know, if somebody has a decent enough place that they're might be like willing to host, but no pressure at all. We certainly have some public areas too. I think Martin's Point would be a really nice area. It's pretty centralized for Green and Sabattus and Wales. Wales might have to come around a little bit, but you can take your boats there too, I guess. Yeah, no. So do we have a feeling of what we want to do, where we want to do it? I can maybe just present some options this week, put it up there, maybe have us vote on it. Yeah, Justin.
So I know we talked about this in the steering committee, trying to have a location for this. I know we did mention Martin's Point. I think a facility is probably out of reach with the cost. Leslie and I are happy to host at our house. You know, we live right on the lake. We have a plenty big enough area. You know, obviously if it rains, we'll just get nice and cozy under some pop-up tents. My neighbor is also gracious enough. We can use his garage if need be, if the weather's going to be extremely horrible. But we're happy to host at our house. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
As
Cool.
you can see, the view's not too bad. So
yeah, it's pretty gorgeous, honestly. Really jealous. Yeah.
But with that being said, as far as event planning, one of the things I did want to recognize, we did have some members send donations to our PO box.
Nice.
To those of you who are on here and you know who you are, I finally made it to the credit union today and cashed your checks. So you will see that come through. But no, I think we had 5 people total send donations in that went into our checking account today at Sabattus Credit Union. So that was encouraging to see that. Thank you to those people who did that. And I will also be working on sending you a receipt for tax purposes with your donation to the nonprofit.
Excellent. I have some
So
templates.
What is that?
Sorry.
What's the total that you have so far then? of how many dollars are in your account?
So
Our
today
account?
was with the 5 donations, it was $580
Wow.
that we received that I deposited today. So I was really happy about that. One of the names I didn't recognize, but they were very happy for all the work that we've done. They gave an address in Green that it's been in their family for 70 years. And they live out of state, have a mailing address out of state. So that was really encouraging to see that. That was a rather large donation that they sent in. So that was really, really generous of them. But I will work on getting those receipts out to the people who donated for tax purposes.
What is
Um,
the address? P.O. Box
21
21, yeah.
the zip code for Sabattus,
04280.
and what is the mailing address? I know it's P.O. Box 21, but who do you make the check out to?
You can make it out right to our group, Sabattus Pond Watershed.
Sabattus Pond Watershed, P.O. Box 21, Sabattus, Maine 04280.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
So is
That's
this get
excellent to
together
Yeah.
a fundraiser, or is it just a get together on August 17th? I mean,
So, yeah, this is going to be our voting meeting, correct? Where we vote in the new board and everything.
Yes, so it's our inaugural meeting for our group, but as a recognized nonprofit, we had to form bylaws and stuff like that. And I think I saw George on here. We can defer to legal advice, but we formed a temporary steering committee, to get us to this point where we are now, with recognized with the state and with the federal IRS as a certified nonprofit. So as part of our bylaws, in either July or August every year, we have an annual meeting. And at that meeting, we vote on board members. I don't remember off the top of my head, and maybe Georgia can chime in here because she was very helpful in writing these. But there's term limits on the board members, I think, and there's a number, it might be 9, I think, up to 9 people. And then once the board is chosen and voted on, then the board members themselves will decide the kind of executive roles, like president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, that sort of thing. So that's what will happen at this meeting, is not only get to meet a lot of people face to face instead of just looking at you through a screen, but also to vote for the board to continue the work that we're doing and move forward. So
Yeah, I have it up right here, and I can show the terms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the terms are staggered on purpose, so we don't have an entire board coming. Sorry, that squeaking is my dog. So we don't have an entire board coming on and off at the same time. So it'll be a little weird at first, but once we get going, it'll make perfect sense.
Yeah, and we'll take nominations probably I can put out a post for it like a month before, or they can take them there too, I think, right? I don't think we specify, but
I think so.
yeah.
yeah, I think we could do it there, like nominations and second, and then and honestly, I thought one of the things cool at Sabattus was they all had paint stirrers that were painted fluorescent orange, so you could hold them up in the crowd and see. So maybe we could borrow those from the town of Sabattus if there's going to be 100 people here. It'll be easier to count votes.
Members, great, and then nominations there, perfect, exciting stuff.
Well, the big question is, what happens if it gets voted down for the dam? Do we still continue our work? Do we know what the next step is? Does the state take? Do we have any of those answers?
Justin?
So regardless of what happens with the vote, we continue our work, Wayne.
Okay.
We're an advocacy group for the lake, the water quality of the lake, the benefit to the towns and everybody that comes here. what they did say at one of the informational meetings was they hope it's not voted down, but obviously that potential exists, and especially after what that code enforcement officer said in the town of Green. They did say that they would regroup and try again the next year. That was from Jeff Burrill and Eric Gagnon at one of the informational meetings. What would be really interesting is if the town of Green does drop out of the interlocal agreement, then that cost burden shifts to two towns, which is just more money that they have to ask from the towns. I think the cost was 1.2 million for the dam repair, hence the 385 per town. If it's only two towns, that's going to be $700,000, which is really a lot of money for, regardless of the size of the town. That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
And the other unknown is how much the estimate may go up from 2025 to 2026. I would assume, like all things, the last 4 or 5 years, that the cost of labor, materials, whatever, will just increase and make that cost that much higher. So that's kind of the worst case doomsday scenario. Is it just is delayed a year and then we need more money to do it.
Wow.
So certainly our work is not going to end. It will definitely transition into something a little bit different. But like Justin said, we are here for the duration. So unless this lake is a dry bottom bed, I can see ourselves still being here. So, or at least I will definitely still be here for it. So, and I think, Justin, did you mention too that there may be some legal recourse in ways that the Dam Commission could take? I think I remember them talking about that at the Sabattus meeting.
Yeah, they did mention that. Jeff Brill and Eric Gagnon did mention that. They weren't that specific as to what that would look like. They also said that they weren't lawyers, but there was something written into the interlocal agreement about if one of the towns doesn't kind of air quote hold up their end of the the bargain or the interlocal agreement. What was interesting is the person I spoke with today said it's written in there that if they just pay 3 years of dues, then they can automatically withdraw with no repercussions. Which I mean, I without seeing the actual document, I don't know if that's true or not. So I guess it's unfortunate. Not unfortunate. I think it's dangerous to speculate as to what may or may not happen without actually seeing a copy of the interlocal agreement or speaking with one of the more senior members of the Dam Commission who would know that. Because I do know these meetings are recorded and they're posted online. So, I just want to be very careful with, throwing stuff out there that's not 100% accurate as to what may or may not happen.
Agreed.
The problem with that whole thing too is if Green turns it down, they still reap the benefits of the shoreline taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a
still,
quick
yeah, go for it, Patrick.
I just sent you a message on this, Nick, and if this question's already been answered, I could watch it on YouTube later tonight. So I was talking to a guy that owns a bait shop over in Wales, and he was saying he lives in Wales. He was saying that he was pretty upset that each town has to pay a third, even though Sabattus is much larger than, say, a town like Wales. Is there a reason why each town has to pay a third as opposed to maybe the size of the town or anything like that? Is that just curious on that so I can let them know? Calm them down a little bit.
Yeah, so just a few things. Sabattus is definitely the largest of the communities population-wise, but they also share the least amount of actual lakefront property. So hold on, I can share my screen here. But without actually seeing the interlocal agreement that was originally signed and created, I cannot actually tell you why it's split that way. Maybe Justin has an answer here, but right here is how much is in Sabattus of the lake. and right here is how much is in Wales.
Yeah, I think I asked that. This is Anthony. I asked that question, or I asked Justin to ask that question at the Sabattus meeting, and it was
Mhm.
asked. And the answer, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, is exactly what you said, Nick, that putting aside the size of the towns, that the number of lakefront properties, the amount of acreage, I guess, or whatever on the lake is very equal. And so that's why, because I had the same reaction, Pat, because Wales is such a small town. Why would they have to pay the same as the other two? Did I get that right, Justin?
Yeah, for the most part, the biggest thing is that interlocal agreement that was entered upon with the three towns. So the three towns signed that agreement. I believe it was 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. And they all three towns agreed to share costs, split a third. So it's really not dependent on the population of the town. It's the fact that the three towns signed the agreement.
Yeah.
You know, if there were six towns, that'd be even better, because you know it would be that much less money. But then it would also have to be six select board, town meetings, and people that you have to deal with. So that's why everything is split a third with the cost of the repair. Each year, the towns give money to the dam commission, which is $3,000 per town. Everything is split 33%
Yeah.
between the three towns for anything to do with the dam and the lake.
His point was, and again, this isn't mine. I'm just saying what maybe what we can expect to hear a lot more from in the meeting on the next Saturday.
Mhm.
Is I have a feeling a lot of residents are going to say the same thing that this guy said. Is it's going to cost the individual taxpayer more in the town of Wales and the town of Greene versus the town of Sabattus because of the size. So I'm feeling that's coming down the pipeline. You're going to hear a lot of that this next upcoming.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great point. I would definitely say maybe one thing to, I guess, try to like ease that is how much tax revenue that lakefront property actually brings into the community, and without that dam repair, there would be a substantial loss for everyone in the town. So that's definitely something to consider as well. And I think Wales's numbers were set at the Wales meeting. And I have the transcript. I just don't want to open it because I don't want it to freeze my computer again. But yeah.
Yeah, they were shared at the Sabattus meeting as well, and I thought the commission members did a nice job of explaining that exact point, Nick, that how each town is going to would lose the tax dollars and how it currently benefits from the tax dollars.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the population, Sabattus 5,000 and Greene 4,300. They're pretty close, whereas the people of Wales are paying a third, and there's only 1,600 people.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the great numbers. Yeah, the population is right there. 1,608 from last census, 4,300, and then 46, I believe. Yeah, or 5,000. Yeah. So it.
So Greene's getting a bargain.
Well, I think that there are a similar amount of properties in Wales as they are in Greene.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of money that they would lose is pretty close.
Yeah.
So you can't just go by total population. The property on the lake is similar.
Yeah.
The number of properties.
Justin, yeah.
Yeah, Lou's absolutely correct. I think Dan Garrett was the one that said there's about 310 properties on the entire lake, and it's pretty much split about 103.333 per town. So it's remarkably similar and close for the number of properties for each town. Dan did say that at a meeting, like 310 properties on the whole lake.
Okay, yeah, it's good to know.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Say two towns say yes. Can we take the 800,000 and do a good repair?
I don't know. Yeah, Wayne, it's a good question.
Get us over the hump?
It might,
Probably wouldn't bring it up to standards.
yeah, I mean, I don't know particularly, and I don't want to speculate, but that's a great question. Maybe Lou, I don't know, at the next meeting, you might bring that up, but I don't know if you guys have contingency plans or, you know, if you guys are thinking about that. Like if it doesn't, I'm sure you guys have discussed it at least a little bit, but that's a decent question. It might not be enough financially to like, because you'd have to revamp the whole plans, I believe, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna take one step at a time and not, you know, push the cart before. We're just hoping everything works out. If it doesn't, then we'll take it as we go. But as far as doing it with only 2/3 the fund, Wayne, I don't think that would work. It's all or nothing, I believe. You want to do it right and up to standards.
There are, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to speculate,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we just have to get the people that are in favor of this to go to the green meeting and vote.
Yes.
absolutely, yeah. That may, when is the green meeting again? It's in early August.
July 23rd is the informational meeting,
Okay.
and then August 5th is the actual town meeting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it might be a good idea to, as that gets closer and after we sense the vibe of the informational meeting, maybe organizing some door-to-door stuff just to get people out and voting and talking about it. I think that would be a great idea. And if that is the case too, we can do it on weekends, and I could potentially come up too. So and we could do some old-fashioned canvassing down on Green. So I think it's just, I think the want is there. I think maybe some of the louder voices are the ones that are being heard right now at a Green, which might be the case. I'm hoping. So let's go. We can definitely get this done, I think.
Does anyone know if a person is a property owner and not a resident? Can they vote at the town meeting?
No,
No,
Unfortunately not. Yeah.
you have to be a resident.
yes. That's state law.
Yeah, Kim brought that up and she looked into it and she can't vote.
Yeah.
I talked to the town of Sabattus and got a really negative response.
But they'll take your tax money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
I suppose you could go to the meeting and still speak your piece. You just
Yes.
can't vote.
Yeah, I think that might be the case,
Right.
Justin. Yeah.
So you could still be influential.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my question for Sharon, as somebody who works in local government. If you are a property owner, can you speak at a meeting but just not vote?
A non-resident can speak with a vote of 2/3 of the people there. 2/3 of the voters have to vote in favor.
Yeah.
So if a property owner wants to speak, they need 2/3 of vote from people there to be able to talk.
Yes, if they're a non-resident.
Is
Yeah.
that just in Wales, Sharon, or is that a state law for all
No,
municipalities?
That's a state law.
State law, so
So-
2/3 majority.
So
Okay.
if there's enough of us there, we can.
Well, no, only residents can vote.
Yeah. So I've seen it done in Sabattus before, because when department heads don't live in the community, but they still might need to talk or answer questions about a certain department that's up in town meeting, usually in the beginning of the meeting itself, they'll do like a mass, like asking if everybody on this list can speak at the town meeting, and then they'll vote on that first. So that does make sense. But if you guys can get on, if residents or residents but non-voting residents can get on that list too, and like, you know, you just raise your hand in the beginning, and maybe the communities can actually vote, so you can speak, so you can be on that list.
How do you get on that list to begin with?
I imagine you could probably even just ask in the beginning, or have somebody ask for you if the town meeting started. But you know, you can, I imagine just maybe even calling the town office beforehand, and Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe just calling the office beforehand and saying, hey, I'd like to be there. I own property there. I'd like to be able to speak. Can you put me on that list to potentially get voted in if the community wants it or wants to hear what I have to say?
You actually just ask the moderator at the
Oh, cool. Great.
How you want.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit, Sharon, but ask the moderator at the event. You can do that right then and there. Awesome. Great. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything like that? I know we're pretty damn focused right now. No pun intended, but Justin, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I had, Nick, is
Wait, great
we-
pun before
Yeah,
besides that. Well played, sir.
we have a date for the inaugural get together for our organization. And like I said earlier, Leslie and I are very happy to host at our house.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about some times right now
Yeah.
to get that happen so we can start advertising that?
Absolutely.
I know that we we have to have our annual meeting to satisfy our requirements as a nonprofit, to go over secretary treasurer's report, probably some steering committee stuff, and then have our vote, which I wouldn't imagine would take 60 to 90 minutes. We're also happy to cook, so I don't know if we want to do like
we potluck
10 to 2 or something.
Yeah.
And that would give us enough time to get the stuff out of the way, and then we could eat and hang out afterwards. Does that work for people?
11 to 2.
11 to 2?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think 11 to 2 works, and I think a potluck type thing might be cool. I think that's nice. I mean, honestly, probably just anything easy. Like, I assume you guys got a grill, right? Maybe we could just get a bunch of hot dogs, hamburgers.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, see, there we go. Yeah. And then the potluck stuff, and then we can go from there. And then maybe the steering committee meets sometime next week, and we can talk like logistics of all that stuff and kind of work out like how much that might be, and maybe then I can put out a feeler of how many people might be interested in going, so we can get some numbers going. But I love it. Yeah. And I'll definitely be there too. I've already marked it off on my work calendar. So
You're talking August 17th right now.
August 17th, yes, which I believe is a Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Saturday.
It is.
Yeah, we're coming back from Florida. My husband's recovered, so we're coming back to Maine. He's from hospice. He's been dismissed from hospice.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's
Good news.
Donna, that's amazing.
I know, amazing.
Can't wait to see you.
Yeah. How's the parking there at Leslie and Justin?
It's fine. We got a whole dead end road. We don't have one of those associations like Mars Point Road that would tow people. So you're okay to park on the road. Across the street, we have some parking at some neighbors' houses and stuff. So there's plenty of room here.
We do encourage carpooling because it's good for the planet.
Yes.
But...
And I can only take maybe 2 boats at the dock to tie up, unless somebody wants to throw an anchor out, and I'll come get you in a canoe.
Start shuttling people back.
I was thinking about swimming. I didn't get that one.
Oh yeah.
Let's make sure there's no bloom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, August. That's risky.
Awesome, cool. So I'll get in touch with the steering committee about a time for us meeting sometime next week, and then we can go from there. I think our next meeting is going to be, so I actually cannot do the 12th. I just got put onto a work thing on the 12th, but I can try to do the 11th or the 13th. So that's the Thursday or that Tuesday instead of that Wednesday, or I can go to the 19th as well. Actually, I can't do the 19th as well
I
either,
can't
so I
do it.
apologize. Yeah. Sorry, it's currently my busiest season right now, but let me just confirm what days I can do and I'll mark them off. So I can absolutely do the 11th, and I can do the 13th. And we typically sometimes do our makeup days on Thursdays. Does that semi work for people on here? Is that okay? Just a nod ahead. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, either
All right.
Tuesday or Thursday.
Yep. All right. I will plan for the 13th then, and then we should be good. I don't have anything else. I scheduled a bunch of posts. I don't know if you guys have seen them. They kind of look duplicate, but I swear they're not. But just to keep rolling out until the town meeting in Wales. So share on those pages. Anthony, I've been seeing every one of them. Love it. So definitely appreciate it. And talk to people, talk to anybody, and even share them on your own pages, because it's about getting that information out there and pointing them into the right direction. We have all the resources here, all the conversations. Not suggesting that people watch, at this point now, I think it's upwards of like 50 something hours of video that we have, but a lot of good information in there. So if people do, I think it's great to share. But again, appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm going to post the video tonight. So we should be good to go, but awesome.
Thank you as always, Nick.
Of course. Thanks everybody
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Seriously.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a great night. Bye.
Right.
Bye.